somebody in our family decided to do Ancestry.com, or as I like to call it, Ancestry.com. We know what you did. My mom's like second cousin or something like that had done it. They found out that basically all roads led to my mom having a brother that she didn't know about for over 50 years.
What?
So I found him on Facebook. I sent her the link to it. And I was like, all right, like, let's figure out, this is him. Like, let's figure out what we want to do. She didn't listen to me. And that night she drunk messaged.
Stop.
I swear to God.
We are back, baby, for season 2. And after one colossally epic, heartbreaking, shocking, hilarious first season, I've got just one thing to say to each and every one of you.
How you doing?
Joey, you slut. I'm trying to have a heartfelt moment here. No, really, though. How are you all doing? Well, I hope you're ready, because this season we're serving up even more family drama to take home to your mama. Or if you're like me, to take home to your dead mama's dog. Where my fellow orphans at? We've got incredible guests revealing shocking family secrets, total generational chaos, and the bizarre ways they somehow survived all of it. Because what I've learned is that as soon as you start sharing your own trauma, people with similar experiences will flock to you, like the bees swarming that giant pile of sugar Homer Simpson was keeping in his backyard for some reason.
I want it all. The terrifying lows, the dizzying highs, the creamy middles.
When I finally started investigating my own family's ridiculous secret for season 1, I was terrified to talk about it. I was worried people would think I was too weird, too broken, too much. Somehow, my dad's deathbed confession that he had a whole secret family gave me shame. But then, I opened that door, and all of you walked through it with me. It turns out there are so many more weirdos out there. People finding secret siblings. Thank you, 23andMe. People uncovering decade-old family lies. People with stories that sounded too unbelievable to tell because surely this only happens to my family. Nope. Everybody has a made-for-TV season of life that feels stranger than fiction. And that's my favorite kind of story. It's what got season 1 praised by The Guardian, included on Apple's best of list, and listened to hundreds of thousands of times. And what made me the most qualified family secret detective. I've been training for this podcast my whole goddamn life.
I'm a natural born killer.
Season 1 was my fucked up family sitcom. Season 2 is all of yours. Every week, we're bringing on special guests like sitcom writers, Emmy-nominated comedians, and more with stories so wild they'll either make you look at your own family and think, you know what? You guys aren't all that bad. Or remind you that you were never the only one living through what felt like sitcom levels of insanity. And from time to time, we'll also be digging into our inbox to share and discuss some of the truly unhinged stories you guys have so graciously sent in to us so far. That's everybodyknowspod@gmail.com, by the way, if you've got some ludicrous family lore that might help other people heal by hearing it. Time out. If you're new here, welcome. You can totally dive right in here, or you can have your finger perfectly on the pulse of family trauma and go back and listen to season 1. That's where I unravel the story of my dad's secret family and all the twists, turns, millennial pop culture references, and emotional damage that came with it. But today's guest is the perfect person to kick off the 90s-inspired talk show that is this new season. All my little everybody's have actually already met her. She's been a huge part of being able to tell my own story. And she doesn't have one, not two, but 3 shocking secret family stories of her own. Our first guest is none other than a voice you know and love, my sitcom mom, comedian and actress Valerie Tosi. You might know Valerie from her stand-up on Conan, from Stan Against Evil, or from producing the popular all-female mermaid comedy hour at the Hollywood Improv. She also hosts the new podcast, Millennial Mood Board, where she and her co-hosts hilariously dissect all the wonderfully ridiculous things that made us millennials who we are. Seriously, if you remember MTV's Spring Break or the lyrics to the All That theme song, you will fit right in.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Valerie shares what it was like growing up with parents struggling with addiction, how quickly she had to become the adult in the room, and one of the most unbelievable secret family reunions I have ever heard. Oh, and by the way, don't forget, you can actually support the show now starting at just $5 a month by going to patreon.com/everybodyknowsbutme. All right, so let's get into it. From Next Chapter Podcasts and Companion, here's the one with Valerie Tosi's DNA plot twist.
Oh my gosh, Valerie, I'm nervous.
Oh, why?
I don't know. So many reasons. Because you're the first official interview.
I'm honored.
This season 2 that we're doing, diving into other people's stories. Also, I just respect and admire you so much.
Oh my gosh, get out of here. Back at you.
I'm just so happy to have you as your first guest. But before we jump into everything that is you and your crazy stories, that I remember you afterwards, after us filming something one day, you were like, Holly, we got to talk.
Because I kept finding out stuff
Yeah.
about you and I was like, wow. It's because, when you live through so much crazy stuff, you think your experience is so singular.
Oh,
and then
for
the
sure.
more people that you actually like tell that stuff to, you're
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm not so isolated.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling to be like, I'm not unique.
Yeah.
But also want that.
Yes. Yeah. Part of you is like, oh, I'm not special. The other part of you is like, oh, thank God, more people in my club.
Well, before we jump into all that, I want to introduce you to everybody. You are a stand-up comedian. You're an amazing stand-up comic that I have been friends with for so long now. You are an actress, and you're also a podcast host
Yes.
of a new show that listeners of this show will absolutely devour, called Millennial Mood Board. And so I wanted to talk about that for a second before we dive right into everything,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that show is just like the sister to this show.
It's so funny that they came out like around
Yeah.
the same time and in like similar worlds, but not like very parallel, I think.
Yeah, totally. Because I feel like what ours is doing is diving into like a very specific story, but yours is offering like a lens into an entire generation,
Yeah.
And so can you just quickly just talk about what Millennial Mood Board is about? Because it's just so intrinsically tied to this show.
Yeah,
and I just want
yeah.
everyone to listen.
It's we've had a blast doing it. So I'm one of 3 hosts. It's myself, Paula Viganalan, and Jasmine Ellis, 2 other very funny stand-up comedians. And the 3 of us, we're all millennials, but we all had very different experiences growing up because as they will roast me for almost every episode, I'm the oldest. And so I think we're like 4 years apart. So, and I'm obviously, you can see me, YouTube, I'm a white woman. And it's cool because they're both women of color. And so they have very different experiences than I do. So it's funny, like where we line up and where we don't. Like our podcast, we kind of dive into different things that happen throughout that makes us millennials, basically. And so it's been so fun because like sometimes we'll take a really big topic and then sometimes we'll take a really small one. So there's kind of no limit to what we can cover, which is really fun. And I'm so excited for everybody to check it out because we really do have a great time.
We pop in, we do a lot of sitcom references on this show, but we also do pop culture references in general. And so when you want more deep dives on those pop culture references that we do on this show and more, listen to Millennial Mood Board right now. It's a fantastic show. And support Valerie because my guest Valerie here, listeners, you know her already. You're intimately familiar with Valerie. If you caught the last episode of season 1, then you might have seen her at the top of our video intro. But Valerie plays my mom in the show of my sitcom life.
Surprise!
Surprise! Someone way too young in Hollywood is playing my mom.
Fun fact, I have been playing a mom since my early 20s.
Oh, really?
Like, I don't.
Wait, what?
I had a joke for a while that I was like, the industry wants to see me with a kid as much as my mom does. Like, it's been out of control. I booked a thing for Golden Plump Chicken, was on a bunch of billboards when I was like 24 years old as a mom for the Mom Squad. And And everyone's like, wait, what? And
That
I'm like,
is-
I don't know. That was like 20 years ago.
Out of control.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, I think interesting that you're doing it if you're doing it for 20 years, and this says something about the fact that like you look the same, baby.
Oh my God, thank you.
Well, you know, you are the voice of my mom, and I obviously you had a hard job. I would say you had by far the hardest job of anybody in the cast, because you were playing a character that we wanted to make funny, that was also dealing with horrific things. You know, like
My bread and butter.
But I wanted to ask what it was like to play that kind of character. I mean, you nailed it.
It was fun, and I think too because I come from a family riddled with addiction. So
Which was said as a child coming from a family
Yeah.
with a little sing-songy tune behind it.
And
I
just
come from a family of trauma.
I know.
Yeah. Very trauma
trauma.
club kid.
Yeah, I think it wasn't hard for me to kind of pop into that headspace because I also talk about that type of stuff on stage too. So I'm not unfamiliar with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think too because just being in the comedy world, like you can read a script and you know where the beats are. And one thing I've kind of tried to explain my family to people when they're like, "Well, what are they like?" I'm like, it's kind of like The Simpsons on crack meets Shameless is kind of like my family dynamic a little bit where so I think I can see how it would be hard for somebody that didn't have that experience to pull from to do it. But for me, I was like, oh yeah, I know where this is.
Yes.
Like I know that it's fucked up, that it's funny, but I absolutely know where the humor is.
And you did it so well. Like you made me laugh so much harder than I expected to laugh.
Well, I love
writing scenes about my mom's deadly addiction. I'm like, what the hell? It was so thank you.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you so much for being a part of that. And it's just such an honor to have you as our first guest because you're part of the family, of the fabric of the show and part of the family of the show. So that leads me to our first official question.
Yes.
You know, this show obviously inspired heavily by sitcoms.
Yes.
If you could live in a sitcom world, what sitcom would you live in and why?
Okay. So one of my favorites growing up was I Love Lucy, hands down. However, the 50s were not kind to women. So we're going to bypass I Love Lucy.
I love that.
And honestly, my favorite show that was of its time and in that it aired when we were kids, and there were new episodes, The Nanny.
I've never seen The Nanny.
Wait, what?
I know. Maybe I should not be admitting this information at all publicly.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
was my blind spot for some reason.
Obsessed.
Which, interestingly enough, my mom later went on to date the composer of The Nanny's theme song, who, boy oh boy, was he royalties galore.
Wow.
But I don't know. I think I've never seen the show. He's supposedly in the show, the piano player that's in the show. Anyway, besides the point.
Does he play the accompanist?
Yes.
Okay.
So that is my mom's ex-boyfriend
Wow.
that she dated
That's
later in life.
wild.
Later in life after my dad passed. So have a connection to The Nanny. I've been meaning to watch it. But why is that the show that you'd want to live in?
For one, they're rich, baby.
Oh, hell
You
yeah.
can live in a sweet,
Smart
sweet-
move.
Yeah,
I love how that's your criteria first. You're going through.
That's what happens when you grow up poor.
I'm reevaluating the sitcoms that I decided I want to live in. I'm like, why didn't I choose rich people sitcoms?
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like a fish out of water scenario. She's so funny. I think I identify with it too because she's not Boston, but she's New York. She has a very, you've heard Fran Drescher speak, she has a very thick Queens accent. And, right? Yes. Flushing Queens. There it is in the theme song. And it's, cause it's also they are rich, but they're not rich people you hate. They're very cognizant of the fact that they're rich, and you can laugh at some of the things where you're like, okay, you're being ridiculous, but they're so funny. There's a lot of love in the show. Family members that remind me of my own. It is even now, I go back and watch it and it's still one of the funniest sitcoms. And then Cece Babcock is one of the characters.
Sorry, is that the name of a character?
That's the name. Yes.
Cece Babcock?
Cece Babcock.
Oh my, do they
She's
enter
very
every scene
hoity-toity.
and take glasses off?
Wait till you watch it because she's very,
Wow.
she's very up.
She sounds like someone would have killed somebody in Clue. Cece Babcock.
Oh, I can see. Ooh.
With a pipe. The
With a
lead
pipe in the library.
in Mr. Sheffield's.
Oh my God.
That's the extent of my knowledge.
I was going to say, at least you know a character
I know
name.
Mr. Sheffield.
Which also, by the way, was so funny when Fran Drescher was president of SAG, because I would all of a sudden have a voicemail that's like, "Hi, it's me, Fran Drescher," and I'm like, "Oh man, childhood me is losing my mind right now."
Wow. Oh my God. Okay. Well, we talk a lot about family already. You talked about like, oh, you see your family in the nanny. And I feel like, after I mentioned at the top, after one of the tapings we did for an intro, you pulled me aside and you were like, Holly, Annabelle Brown, we need to talk, which I found fascinating because, obviously you knew in the scripts that my mom was a drug addict, but it's like when you were listening to the show, that's when it felt like something was activated in you that you were like, let me also compare notes with Holly.
Yeah. And as I've been listening to it, like as each episode has been rolling out, because obviously as somebody that's in the cast, but only in the sitcom portion of it, all of the other stuff was all new to me I was finding it as your audience was finding it. And so listening to it all, I mean, there are times where I love a good walk, and I'll take a walk and I'll listen to the pod. And also, you should know that your podcast is the only podcast I don't speed up. But listening to it, I mean, there's a few times that I would just I would well up and I would start crying because there was experiences that I identified with so much, things that were brought up that I had forgot about, or like things that made you feel less alone.
Yeah.
And so we definitely have some kinship and a lot of that stuff.
Isn't that funny when you find that out about someone that you've always liked and you've always just like had a rapport with that felt easier and natural? And then you're like, oh, that's why.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Turns out
we're not just cool. Oh,
yeah. We're not just cool and have great taste and game recognize game, like trauma recognize trauma. Shit.
The parentified child in me sees the parentified child in you.
If we're gonna have to make lemonade out of lemons, then that is one that I'm so grateful for, is the ability to like cut to the chase with people.
Yeah.
Because you can only do that when you're like, hey, by the way, I can't really fucking think about dating apps right now. All I can think about is the fact that my mom relapsed.
Yeah.
But you talked about that in the sense of there was so much in the podcast that I felt like you related to. And so like, what was it like growing up in the Tosi household? Visceral body reaction.
Yeah. Yes, I shudder.
Cartoon skin.
Like
sheds.
Literally just it was like, I think like every family, like when it was good, it was really good. And when it was bad, it was bad. Like my parents have a very codependent relationship where to me, they should have gotten divorced probably a long time ago. They almost got divorced, didn't take. And so they're still together and
didn't take. It sounds like a temporary tattoo. Like, we tried. We didn't put enough water on it.
They literally tried. And I had a joke about it that's on my first album, and my mom wouldn't speak to me for a while because it was on there. Whoops. Yeah, it was. So they're still together. And again, like I know they love each other, but they also can't stand each other in a lot of different ways. And part of that I know too is like my mom also had a very kind of messed up childhood. My dad is one of 5, very like I'm Italian on both sides too. So it's a lot of yelling, a lot of hand movements. And like my mom, her parents were both raging alcoholics. She also amidst other things.
Such a classic trope.
I know.
You watch Cheers back and you're just like, I can't remember the character's name, the waitress on Cheers. That's Rita. What I think her name is.
Oh, yeah. Rita Perlman.
Rita Perlman. Yeah. She on Cheers she's pregnant most of the time and she's drinking all of the time.
I know. The 80s.
Yes. And so I'm like, anytime I hear anything about addiction when it comes to these older generations, I'm like, well, I mean, what were you taught?
Yeah.
You were not taught that this was bad. You were taught that your baby might like it before it's born.
Yeah. It's wild.
Blows my mind. It's so common, and it's just so I feel for a generation of people that didn't get the help and support they needed.
Yeah.
To not get there, but
yeah. And some people didn't want help or support either. Like they just wouldn't admit that they had a problem. My grandparents stopped drinking, but I think like my grandmother ended up having a double mastectomy. She had breast cancer and she had a bunch of other like health stuff. My grandfather once she died, he basically just like wasn't a person anymore because he didn't know how to do anything for himself. and like literally asked my mom to make ice. Like stuff like that where just
Valerie,
I
that's not
can't.
allowed.
I can't.
No way.
I swear to God. And like when she was alive, when I remember being younger, the remote control would be 3 feet away from him and he would just be like, Patsy, give me the remote. Like just stuff very like misogynistic Italian, very
Wow. I mean, ice is a new low. I give him credit for that. That's, I would say, almost inspiring how low that is.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know, it's like,
My mom would be like, we just
don't
fill
know.
the tray and we pop it in the freezer.
How the hell are these things existing? You're like, what the hell? He's like juggling.
What
ice. He's like,
sorcery
what
are
the
you
hell
doing?
is this?
It's so insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Starting strong with your parents'
Yeah. And then my parents on my grandparents on my dad's side, he was like, my grandfather was barely born here. His brother, though, and his siblings were born in Italy. And he actually was a NFL player in the 30s.
Wow.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when
yeah.
their outfits were extra
Ridiculous.
cool.
Yes.
I like how you said
Yes.
ridiculous and I was like, kind of fucking
Cool.
hot. I loved him.
Yeah, he played for, and I know this is not an appropriate name now, but they used to be the Boston Redskins. So he played for them, got traded to the Steelers, but then never actually played for them because he had a shoulder injury that took him out.
That is
So yeah,
wild.
I have
lore.
his card too, which is really cool. Like because he had a little football card, and yeah, it's wild. I think he was on the Wheaties box supposedly too. His nickname was the Bull.
What the hell? Okay, this is like blowing my mind. but-
Yeah. So my dad, he was very rebellious, went into the army, all that stuff. And he and my mom met because they worked at GE, General Electric, together. As they put it, they worked in the Pats pool together. So
I'm sorry, can you say the Potts pool?
the parts pool.
Oh,
as
sorry,
some of
sorry.
us that
I
pronounce
don't
our R's.
speak Boston.
Yes, yes. And apparently they tell me that I was conceived in one of those buildings.
Stop!
Please kill me. Yes, yes.
Okay, well, so
That's
far
fine.
everything you're saying sounds like a damn TV show.
Yeah, yeah. I did write it, so I do have it as a TV show.
No way.
I do have a pilot about them because they're insane. But yes, they're a lot. And so I was an only child until I was 7, and then my sister was born, and then my brother came when I was 10. So there's a big age difference. Same parents, big age difference.
So I mean, when it comes back to being parentified, and
I was the third parent. Like
yes,
for sure.
I mean, in almost in any scenario, I would argue that with that kind of an age gap, the parents are going to look at the oldest child.
Yeah.
Even in a healthy dynamic.
I'm pretty sure my
Insane.
parents waited to have them so they would have a built-in babysitter.
Wow.
Like that's like what I tell people. And they constantly, they're like, what? They're like, when are you gonna have kids? When are you gonna have kids? I'm like, I already raised 2 and you guys. I'm good.
I
Like
know.
I'm not ruling out kids 100% because my partner now is incredible and he's the first person I've ever actually considered having kids with. But I'm just like, I had to take care of everybody else for so long.
Yeah.
And then, because that's what relationships after that, like I had to take care of them too. And I've constantly just been taking care of people.
I mean, it is hard once you get locked into a mode of this is what our relationship is. This is how I've survived this relationship. To shed that is, I'm trying right now.
Yeah.
That is so hard. And also at times I've noticed, and this was really challenging for me in my relationship with my husband, whereas like he would have these things happening with his family that I didn't understand because I'd be like, just talk to them about it.
Yeah.
And he would be like, I can't. It's just not worth it. Or it's just not like this is
I've said that. It's not worth
yes,
it.
and it took me a really, really long time to understand that, to be like, okay, you know what? Peace of mind is sometimes means different things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it means confronting the issue. Sometimes it means, am I going to get what I want at the end of the day out of this? Or am I going to be trying forever?
Yep.
And I understand both routes. So it's hard but it also makes it complicated to like, change habits and change behaviors when you can't do that.
Yeah.
So.
And even now, like my partner who's incredible, it's the first time I felt safe and felt like I could be soft. Like
Aw.
having somebody where I'm not constantly like tiptoeing and feeling like you're walking on eggshells and whatnot. It's just like I can just be myself. I'm so like at peace with him that it is, I mean, it's taken till now at no one in Hollywood listen, 41, that I finally am just like, oh, this is what a healthy relationship, because I didn't have that growing up, looks like.
Yeah, I 1000% relate to that.
Yeah.
I feel like I looked for chaos in relationships prior, and
Oh,
I
of
didn't
course.
even know
because
that
it's all
was
you
happening.
know. That's what you recognize as normal. It's your normal.
So can you dive into, if you feel comfortable, like
Yeah.
the kind of chaos that you were living with, because you talked about addiction, that your parents had that. And I think you talked to me before this about like the varying levels of that addiction, because sometimes addiction is completely overwhelming of your life, and sometimes it's just always there, simmering and affecting everything in the background.
Yeah.
And it seems like you kind of lived in both of those worlds.
Growing up, my mom, she definitely was an alcoholic. She also was doing other drugs as well. And I know my dad was too, especially when they were younger. I think once I was born, he wasn't really doing that anymore. My dad's never been a crazy drinker. He's been somebody that can have a beer at dinner and that's it. And then my mom just, not only was she drinking and doing other types of drugs, because she did have a cocaine problem when I was younger. And so she went to rehab twice when I was a kid. She also, because she's on different medications for different mental health stuff, that you're mixing all that together, and that's no bueno.
Yeah.
So, my mom worked as a waitress when I was younger. And like after she left GE, my dad worked there for a long time and worked some other jobs kind of in that space. And, money was tight and it was always stressful growing up. And, like my parents would scream at each other.
Yeah.
Like they would get into some really nasty, heated arguments.
In front of you guys.
In front of us. I mean, there were times where I'd have to like grab my siblings and leave and just kind of like, once I could drive, I would take them, or we would just like walk, just go somewhere. Plates breaking, just door slamming. To this day, when a door slams, my whole body just like tenses up and like I can't handle it.
Yeah.
And like we got spanked as kids. We were never hit other than that. Which my dad loves to use as like I never hit you. And it's thank you so much. Yeah, it's like,
you know what?
What a saint.
You know what, Dad? I was going to talk to you about this other horrific thing you did, but in fact, wow.
Yeah.
Classic parent.
Classic. Never. And I love that too. When you do try to get any semblance of accountability from them to be like, hey, just so you know, like this stuff kind of made me feel bad, or was really hard, or whatever. And then it's like, I'm so sorry. I was such a bad
the worst parent that worked so hard to provide for you. It's like, that's, it's interesting to meet so many people that can't possibly understand two things can exist at once.
And just the constant dichotomy of, my dad would always tell me when I was younger, he'd be like, oh yeah, you're an ice queen, blah, blah, blah. But then would also be like, oh, you're such a drama queen. I'm like, okay, well, which is it? Am I somebody that overreacts or I underreact? Like I can't be both of those things at the same time.
Do you think, because I relate to that a lot of like, I was called the drama queen nonstop.
Yeah.
And when you're reacting to these very normal, crazy things that are happening around you, people are calling you drama queen because it's so much easier to deflect than take accountability.
Yeah.
But I also felt like to the world, I was very stoic and like no one would have known that 100%. And so is that duality caused by this, where you're just like, sometimes I'm a drama queen because I'm normally reacting to something. Sometimes I'm an ice queen because I have to, in order to, like, I can't deal with this 24/7.
Yeah.
I have to just button it up. Then I get pushed over the ledge. Then the drama queen comes out.
I think you also start to identify as the things that you're told you are, because you're just like, I guess that's just who I am then. Like the being told an ice queen was a lot of times when, relationships wouldn't work out or things like that. And my dad would be like, well, that's because you're an ice queen. And it's like, well, or no, the person I was dating also happened to be an alcoholic, and I decided that I didn't want that for myself. But now there's times where I would date people. My dad would take like the side of who I was dating if things didn't work out, and I'm like, what are you even talking about?
Because it fit in his narrative,
or they just happen to like them.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Where I'm like, oh, sorry that your pot smoking or drinking buddy isn't around anymore, but like, and it's so frustrating. And even now, my partner doesn't drink. Quit drinking 4 years ago, and I'm just like, it's incredible to be around that. Like I didn't drink until college because I was terrified of that. I was so scared of becoming an alcoholic because I saw what it was like as a kid.
Like straight edge at all because of
up
that?
Until then, yeah.
I was like straight edge.
Oh yeah, I didn't smoke weed until way later too.
Yeah, same.
And now I do love me some weed, but I have like these like invisible rules I put in for myself too, where I'm like, I won't drink if I'm upset.
I'll only, still to this day.
I'll only drink if I'm like a little stressed out or something, that's fine. But if I'm like really upset about something, like I'm crying or whatever, I will not let myself drink because I'm terrified of ever having to rely on it as a crutch.
I mean,
I'm falling into that
in a way that I think boundaries can be healthy and like, you know, if that is something that happens in your family, and we don't know that addiction can be genetic. So it's like healthy mindset to have to some degree, but I understand that too, because I also feel, and I'm curious what you feel about this, like observing so much addiction, observing how it affected my family. I'm like, I will never let that happen. I know I will never let that happen.
That's kind of how I feel
in
too.
1,000 million years.
Yeah.
Like and I understand, but I like the fact that I feel that in you. I feel like, oh, I wouldn't be worried about that with you at all, Valerie. But you're also like, well, why take the chance?
Yeah.
Why two things can exist at once. You'd be like, that's not going to be me, but I'm not even going to fucking tiptoe myself in there to see if it could.
Yeah. Because I mean, like my sister has battled addiction too. So I've seen like, I know it can happen. And I guess in my brain, it's like, oh, it's just like simmering under the surface and one false move and it could, you know, and I know my brother was like that too. Like we just didn't like, it wasn't until I got to college that I finally was like, okay. And I tiptoed into it.
And how'd you fare? Classic college, or was it a little still straight edge Valerie college?
Diet Coke and Parrot Bay were my drink of choice.
What the effing hell is Parrot Bay?
It's a knockoff of Malibu. It's a coconut rum.
Parrot
but
Bay.
It's the cheaper version of it that we had like everywhere when I was in college. Shout out to UMass Amherst for being a real one. But yeah, I saw like, and I don't even remember when I started smoking weed. I think I tried it a couple times in college, but I didn't really get into it that much. And it wasn't until probably like when I came out and moved to LA when I was like 23, that's when I started. And even then I wasn't like, COVID was what really made me start to smoke like more because I was so anxious and I couldn't sleep. So I started like now I basically use it to go to bed.
Valerie, okay, this is blowing my mind because when you said that there were things that we have in common, like you know, we have addiction in common. We have having to parent ourselves. We have secret family stuff in common. But everything you're saying now of the byproduct of it too, I'm like relating to so intensely hard.
So I wonder if this is, I feel like this might be where we differ slightly. For me, I've never been diagnosed with having ADHD or anxiety or depression or any of that. For sure. But that's only because I haven't, like I've gone to therapy. I know my dad has anxiety and depression. I think he's also bipolar and like diagnosed. Yes, he was. My mom has anxiety, depression. So I know for sure that I do. And so, but because my mom has had addiction problems and specifically with prescription meds too on top of it, I'm too scared to get on any type of prescription med because I'm terrified.
No, I'm the exact same way.
Wait, really?
100. Valerie,
I'm so scared to like get on it because I don't want to be addicted.
Even though it's same. Ugh. Okay, so actually I'm so glad you brought this up because your boundary of I'm not going to drink when I'm upset.
Yeah.
I don't have that when it comes to drinking, but I 1,000% have. I don't even like taking Advil.
Advil I will take because I get like raging headaches and like really
I mean, I'll take it. I'm saying that is like what I will take.
Yeah.
And I do not go beyond that unless like dire situation presents itself. But I'm the exact same way. I'm similar in that like I felt like this is making me feel so less alone. I would get made fun of, not relentlessly, but just kind of like, Holly, roll your eyes in high school that I would really judge my friends for drinking.
Yeah.
And
I would too. I would
argue I was not like a kid, you know, I was in theater, but I was pretty, I hate to say this, I was pretty popular at school. You know, I went to a small school. Everyone kind of knew everybody.
That's where we differ.
Finally, we found it.
We found one.
And I wasn't invited to all the parties because I didn't drink. Even though everyone still liked each other, but I wasn't invited. My friends kind of like had a separate, I have my best friends still to this day that I am friends with from middle school. But they have this whole world that I wasn't a part of when it comes to like drinking and doing drugs and like experimenting because they were like, Holly's such a straight edge.
Yeah, I definitely. So I knew some of my friends were hanging out without me because of that.
Yes.
I know with theater too, like we would, like a lot of my friends did sleepovers, like mixed, like men, like boys and girls sleepovers. And I could never sleep over. My parents were way too strict. Absolutely not. But I could go for a little bit and then come home. But they would do drinking games. We'd play like King's Cup and stuff like that. And I would play, but like with soda or whatever. Cause I was like, I can't, you know what I mean? I just like wouldn't do, I was too, oh my God, if I came home drunk, no.
So they were super strict.
They were they were really strict. But I think it was also a control thing. It wasn't necessarily, you know what I mean? Because I was in National Honor Society. I was a goddamn nerd. I was in band. I was in theater. Like, and when I did get in trouble, those were the things that would get taken away. Like I tell people, I didn't get to do, or I barely got to do my senior year musical because I had forgotten to put the clothes in the dryer, and my parents pulled me out. Both my band teacher and the drama teacher called my parents to be like, "What are you doing?
What?
She's a great kid. This is her last show of the year. Like, what's happening?"
They needed to find something.
And of course they were like, "Oh, you're not going to tell us how to raise our kid, blah, blah." So then they doubled down. And then a week before the musical, my parents felt bad and were like, "Okay, you can do it." And of course, at that point, I'm basically in like 2 ensemble numbers because that's all I have time to like do or learn because they're already in tech week. So it was like that type of stuff that was getting taken away. It was like the arts,
which is fascinating. It's like, I mean, it's like you're not doing the classic bad kid stuff. So
No,
they are finding other
nothing.
things. It's like you're gonna take away band.
Literally,
You're gonna take away
yeah.
band.
I would come home and my dad would be like, "Oh, we're out drinking." No, well, you're in a good mood. Sorry, like, or they would think they thought
Sorry,
I
I
was having,
played a wood instrument. Sorry, not
It's
even that
crazy.
kind.
Not even that kind. Well, that's the thing too. They thought I was having sex way before I was.
Wow.
So like they always assumed the worst. And I was like, I didn't until a month before I graduated was when I finally did. And I'm like, and I was with somebody for like years.
So they controlled you by punishing you. So what the sense of control that they wanted though, was it like mired in manipulation? I mean,
for
you know,
sure.
like that's just such an addict thing to be like, I'm
Yeah.
going to manipulate the scenario to benefit me. And what benefits me right now is taking the heat off of me, putting it on you and making you feel bad so that no one looks over here. Don't look over here.
Yeah.
I mean, that just sounds like a classic child of addiction experience.
Yeah.
And
And even now as an adult, it's hard because I feel like I am currently don't speak to my parents because ironically, not because of all of this, but because they voted for Trump 3 times. And so sorry, listeners,
they really
if
wanted they really wanted to make things, you know, cherry on top.
yeah. And so, and I will say this, like, it's been a lot more peaceful and that's been nice, but like, it's hard because even now, you know, my sister has gotten herself into tons of trouble. My parents have always bailed her out time after time after time. Financially, emotionally, all of it. My brother, they've helped him a ton as well. And I feel like I've always been the kid where, quote, "Oh, we never had to worry about you." It's like, well, sometimes it would be nice if you did, you know, like I'm still your kid last time I checked. And like, I would have and even then I think I've asked my parents for money like twice ever. And both times it was like, because I was at the point where I literally had no other option. And it wasn't even for a lot. It would be like $800 to cover my rent because something happened. And that was twice ever. And even like, it's.
And so I've observed this in people like, you know, my family, I didn't necessarily, well, they're dead.
How dare you say that while I'm sipping
I know.
water?
I'm so sorry. I was like, how do I describe why I don't currently borrow money from them? Because they're dead, Holly. But what I'm saying is I have observed in other family relationships that when you are the child, and I mean, I would argue with my own sister too, like when you're the child that is like super parentified, there's a wealth of expectation put on you. And also it's like, we don't have to worry about you. So you're not the one constantly needing something. When you do need something, it's like, why does this seem like such a fucking bigger issue than when so-and-so is getting something nonstop?
Yeah, it's almost
Why
like
are you making
they're
you're
gleeful about you needing something.
Or taking out whatever they feel about the child that needs them so deeply on you.
Yes.
Like, oh, well, we've already given all our money away. We can't give you more. It's like, wait, but I'm not the one that's ever asking you for it.
100%.
It's just the punishment flip, like justification that always, it boggles my brain of like when people can't see that they're projecting.
Oh yeah. And then like, even like one thing I still have not forgiven my dad for was like, when I went to UMass Amherst for a year and a half, I had to leave because I couldn't afford to stay because I wasn't getting any financial help from my parents at all. None. So after about a year and a half, I had to leave. And then I did community college for a little bit. And then I got accepted into AMDA, which had American Musical Dramatic Academy. And they had a location in New York and in LA. And I had a roommate. I was set to go. I worked all summer and saved up for an $800 non-refundable deposit. My dad had told me that he would co-sign the loan for me to go. And then at the last second, my dad was like, "I can't do it. I can't co-sign the loan for you." he's like, because if you default on this loan, I'm going to lose the house.
Oh,
I'm
the
going to
one-
whatever. And I was like, you don't think that I'm not going to pay. Like you have that little faith in me that I'm going to pay back this loan that
Yeah.
you won't. And then, so by the time I did finally leave, I just was like, well, I'm not going to be in school. I'm just going to go. When I literally got in the car to drive cross country, nobody was home. Nobody believed that I was actually leaving.
Are you serious?
I swear to God. So I literally was just like, all right. And like
Wow.
left. And then like a few hours later, my mom called me and she's like, are you coming home for dinner? I was like, what? No, I'm in Ohio, Mom. I'm driving cross country.
Why do you think they didn't want to believe you?
I think it's that July is 18 years that I've lived here.
Wow.
So I'm like, I'll be
my God.
damned, you know?
Yeah, imagine they're still like, I don't know. I think she's coming back.
Like literally, we kept the bedroom ready.
Any day now. Yeah, she's coming home for dinner tonight, I swear.
For sure, swear to God.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah.
It's also just fascinating to be like, you relate to so many of this. God, it's just, how did we not ever talk about this?
I know. It's kind
That's
of
number one. I'm like, what the F?
I think too, because so many comedians have stuff like this. So many of us come from trauma and
Yeah.
come from these experiences where like, and we talk about it on stage, but a lot of times it's the watered down version that we
Mhm.
talk about, because people will come up to me after shows and they're like, oh wow, the stories you make up about your family are so funny. And I'm like, fun fact, I have to dumb them down because otherwise the state is gonna get a call or like
Yeah.
what, you know, like you can't.
Yeah. Otherwise, the audience will start sweating.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to be able to handle
It's
this.
not going to be funny
Yeah.
anymore.
yeah. You're welcome for
Mhm.
it's. But I was gonna say that I just think it's one thing that I felt like I've garnered or felt throughout my experience is like when certain generations,
Mhm.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna have a family. I mean, my mom one day, like we were just casually driving, and I remember her just being like, I never wanted kids. And I was like, I'm driving the car. Be chill.
That's an inside thought, Mom.
Yeah.
That's an inside thought.
Then I go to my grandmother's house, her mom's. Go to my grandmother's house not that long after. And then my grandmother casually also goes, I never wanted kids. And I'm like, what is happening? But yet they all had kids.
You know what's hilarious? My mom was the opposite, where all she told us was, all I ever wanted was to be a mother.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
Really
and
crushing
yet,
that.
like, oh my God. Yeah, it's so, the shit you hear sometimes, you're just like, okay.
But just these people that didn't do what they wanted to do.
Mhm.
And not all of that is just because they didn't have the motivation. Some of
Yeah.
it might be, but some of it is societal expectations.
Mhm.
And these boxes that we'd put women in and these boxes that we'd force men to be in, all these things. And then they don't get to do that. And then they see someone else doing that,
Oh, my dad
talking about doing that.
My dad has
even.
fully admitted that
Yeah.
he wished that he had tried comedy. That he had
Really?
Yes.
Is he funny?
He even told the thing is, he is really funny.
Mhm.
He's very funny. But he also has a lot of anger. And so like, there's times where I'm like, now
Sounds
you're
like a
just
male
being a
stand-up
dick.
comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cause like, I remember most people are terrified to tell their parents that they are doing stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was the opposite experience, where when I did tell them, my dad goes, I bred you for this. But again, it's like, you had to take responsibility for it.
Yes.
And I'm like, no. Or
also,
like
you bred me in a way that you don't even want to know, buddy. You
Yeah.
didn't breed me because you trained me on writing jokes.
insane.
You bred me because you trained my brain to make comedy out of this horrifying
100%.
situation.
And they've even said to you, they're
Oh.
like, if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have a career. And I'm like, like I can't, like
nothing.
it's
Wow.
crazy, some of the shit. And like, like they don't know that I've heard that. It's like, I've heard that through my siblings and
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm just like,
Do you-
wild.
Well, okay. I really want to get into now the family secrets.
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And whatever you're willing to share on that front, because my God, the fact that we have this much in common already.
It's kind of wild.
So yeah, tell me, walk me through these family secrets.
So I know we've talked about like secret siblings.
Yeah.
It has happened in my family, and not just immediate, but extended.
Mhm.
It's happened in our family 3 times where there's been mystery kids. One was a cousin of mine who basically got a friend request from somebody that looked just like him. And that's how we found out he had a son.
Wait. That's not, I don't know why. That's not what I expected you to say.
That's
I thought they were going to say that's their brother or their.
I'm doing it incrementally.
Oh my.
So,
okay. Well, okay.
So
Okay,
that-
good.
so that
Thank
was-
you for tempering my
Mhm,
excitement.
mhm. So there's that.
and that person then messaged him and was like,
I think you're my dad.
You, my daddy,
basically.
look at my face.
Like, and basically we're like, oh my God. And so, because they reckon like the names
Wow.
were so, yeah. So found out because basically he had been with somebody that never told him that she was pregnant. And so he
Yeah.
had no idea that kid was even out there.
What
So that happened.
a feeling.
Then my auntie Kathy had a kid and nobody knew, like nobody in the family knew that she was in Hawaii for a while and she had a kid and she gave it up for adoption in Hawaii, came back to the mainland. Nobody knew. And then we did get to meet, we had like a big party once we like found out and they got to meet because eventually, you know, when your adoption records are sealed and whatnot, that you can, if you say like, I'm open to meeting them,
Yeah,
whatever. So and our genetics are unreal because this, my cousin Tamara now looks identical to my Auntie Kathy. Like
Wow.
it's freaky. They walk the same way.
Oh,
They have the same mannerisms and they didn't know each other until,
Right.
you know, I think she was like 30 when they finally met or something. So very, very crazy. So that happened.
Also, I love the idea. Like, it's so 90. I don't know when this happened. You said she's 30 now, so I'm getting at the times wrong, but it's so like
30 then when they met. This was a few years back.
It
Yeah.
feels so 1950s to be like, oh, so-and-so went to Hawaii for school.
For school.
Yeah, you know?
She was just having a really tough time.
She just went to Hawaii for a job. And then,
for 9 months.
yeah. And I'm like, honestly, kind of a hack.
Kind of, yeah.
If you're gonna be like, instead of being
At
shipped
least-
off to boarding school or put in a nunnery, it's like, at least go to Hawaii.
Like, truly, at least make a vacation out of
Kathy.
it. Oh,
Okay, that's number 2.
that's number 2. And then the third, which was the most recent.
Oh my God.
Somebody in our family decided to do ancestry.com, or as I like to call it, ancestry.com. We know what you did. And
Please be a sponsor of this show.
literally though.
For real.
So my mom's like second cousin or something like that had done it. They found out that basically all roads led to my mom having a brother that she didn't know about for over 50 years. My grandfather had cheated on my grandmother. And what's crazy is my mom was an only child up until that point.
What?
And she had always wanted a sibling. And when she was young, she had said to like, I just know, like, I know that somewhere out there, I feel like I have a sibling. And my grandfather, apparently, she remembers like saying that as a child. And that kid was born already. And he knew about it, obviously. And he was like really freaked out. Like, So my mom did it basically. And then she told me, this is when our relationship was a lot better. When she told me, and she's like, I have his name. I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, let me find him. She's like, how are you going to find him? I'm like, I'm a woman. Give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm a woman that understands keywords and knows social media.
We are detectives, whether anyone wants to believe it or not.
Yeah.
So I found him on Facebook. I sent her the link to it. And I was like, all right, like, let's figure out, you know, this is him. Like, let's figure out what we want to do. She didn't listen to me. And that night she drunk messaged.
Stop.
I swear to God.
What
Yeah.
an intro. What an entrance.
And was like, basically like, hey, like you're my brother from another mother. Swear to God.
Wait, can
I'm
you
like,
say it in Boston?
I'm my brother from another mother. And I say it in Boston. And then basically they were like, okay, let's talk. So they ended up talking on the phone. And I was like, well, how did this happen? How did we not know about it? And she was like, well, I forgot to ask him that, Pat. I was like, that's when I found out that she'd been drinking when she called him. And I was like, you've got to be shitting me.
I forgot to ask him.
I was like, that's the only part, Mom. The only part. So they ended up like talking. And this is the other crazy part. Where does this man live?
No.
San Bernardino. So my mom came out to visit me. And the first time they met was where? At my comedy show. They came.
You can't write this shit, baby.
They came to my show and I brought them both up on stage.
Valerie,
I swear
tell
to
me this is
God.
recorded.
I don't think that show, I might have I know I have photos from it.
Oh my God. You brought them, they had met moments
We
prior?
literally went to dinner and then
Okay.
went to the show. And then
And they were game for this?
I
Or did you
kind of just made them do it. I was like, no, you're just
as
doing it.
you're right to do as somebody that was in the situations they put you in, you put them in an uncomfortable situation, see
Yeah.
how they thrive.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, how's
Wow.
it feel, baby?
Oh my God, what
Yeah.
happened? How did the show go?
It was very fun. And like
That
people
is-
were like, what is even happening? And it was really crazy. That was the only time they've met since then. I think they've kept in touch a little bit.
You have such a comedian's brain. I can't believe you did that.
I'm insane. It was crazy. And I guess basically he had, I think what we tracked it back to, and like, because he had been trying to figure out, like, he didn't know who his dad was. His mom was very like kind of under wraps, and his mom passed away a couple years ago. So he could only get so much information.
Yeah.
But what's even crazier is that when you see photos of them, you're like, that is for sure his kid. They also both went into, they both like worked for like roofing or like siding or something like that. They both weirdly had like, my grandfather and his son had like the same job, even though they didn't know each other.
The
which
parallels
was really weird.
between this and your aunt and
I
her daughter,
know.
it's
very wild.
It's freaky. There's nothing at times, like, it's lovely that happens and that our DNA can be passed on like that, but it's also there's an element to it that is a little freaky.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So what we think happened was that his mom was a waitress at a diner or something like that, and that they had an affair. And then at one point, she pulled up to someplace that he, I think I'm getting this right. Someplace that he was, maybe she pulled up to the diner he was at or something, and basically was like, come outside. And she was like, that's your son in the back. And so he knew about it.
Okay.
And then it was secret, like, after that for all this time. Yeah, pretty wild. And what's crazy is I remember too, like, my mom always told us when my siblings and I would fight, she'd be like, you don't even understand. I would give anything to have a sibling, because she hated being an only child growing up, hated it. So, and then she did. She really had a sibling out there.
And how are they now? Are they?
They're like, I don't think they really talk too much. It's kind of hard because, you know, they're both like in their 60s now, and they live on opposite sides of the country. So they've talked, and like they keep in touch on Facebook, but it's kind of, that's pretty much it. Because both my grandparents are also dead.
That is,
yeah.
It's just, there's so many points during this conversation where I just like envisioning the story, the sitcom or the movie of your life, where it's like, you just said another thing, and it's so cinematic. I mean, the way you're describing it too in such great detail, but like pulling a car up and saying, that's your son in the back of the car and pointing. It's just like, that is something that people dream of writing.
Yeah.
But that is your real life.
He was an interesting character, my grandfather, because he also, we're pretty sure he was a bookie for the mob.
Oh, right. Lest we for fucking get.
Lest we for fucking get.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're talking about this.
Yeah. So we're pretty sure he was a bookie for the mob. He quote unquote sold vinyl siding. And
heard that before.
Yeah.
You know what happened to that guy? Dead.
Well, that's like insane. So when my mom was a junior, it was the summer going into her senior year. All of a sudden, my grandfather was like, pack up the family. We got to move to Arizona, and literally moved my mom and her mom
just moved to Arizona.
No, of course not.
Hey,
so they
sorry,
went for like a year.
Arizonians.
Pretty sure that he was running from the mob or whoever he owed money to.
Oh my God.
Then they ended up coming back. And when I was born, I think I was only like a year old, maybe. My grandfather went away on business and left his car in the driveway of my parents' house. And like a day or two after he was gone, my mom was in the house with me.
Can't get over this story.
You guys ready? And all of a sudden the car caught fire in the driveway.
You know,
and like
casual,
semi blew up.
Normal stationary car business.
Oh yeah. You know, just apropos of nothing. And like no one had been like it just happened. And my mom freaked out and called my dad and like came rushing home and whatever. Yeah. So we're pretty sure.
I mean, I feel like, don't take this for science or any type of actual fact, but when you're a child that has like had to parent themselves and forced to develop a type of read the room social awareness that you have probably been forced to do.
Oh yeah.
Your gut's probably right.
Yeah.
There's a level at which you trust your gut in a way that's like, no. I've understood all situations. I can put these pieces together a little quicker than other people.
Yeah.
So I'm just here to clarify and say for the world, I think your family was in the mob.
Yeah, you think? What's so funny too is I found
crazy.
a picture of my grandfather from his high school yearbook, and he was the class treasurer, and I was like, wow, what a glimpse into the future. It's like,
so we spent the whole first season of this show, everybody knows but me, talking about me creating my own unhinged family sitcom that I wished it was, but in reality it was just a really shitty sitcom. And, we talked a lot about your life that feels stranger than fiction in ways that I can relate to so intensely. But what we're going to do in this game is it's your turn to create your own unhinged sitcom. And we're going to see what kind of weird family sitcom fate has in store for you.
Ooh.
All right? So here's how it works. Sitcoms are built on exaggerated stereotypes. The clean one, the quirky neighbor, the wise mentor. So I'm going to give you 2 sitcom stereotypes for each category I present to you, and you just pick whichever one speaks to you.
Okay.
Do not overthink it. I'm not going to tell you what those stereotypes mean, basically the answer of those stereotypes, until the very end when I read the Mad Libs style TV guide description of your very own sitcom.
Okay.
So these are all centered around sitcom things and pop culture references of the generation that we lived in. Alrighty, my friend. Let's start it off with your sitcom spouse. Would you rather have somebody who's a lovable but hot idiot or a sarcastic, wisecracking rebel?
Sarcastic, wisecracking rebel.
I didn't know you were going to pick that one.
At first I was like, oh, cute. And then I was like, no, that wouldn't last long.
I put it there because I'm like, someone out there is going to be like, I am done dealing with people with brains. I'd really love a dumb hottie.
I need a cynical touchstone.
Oh, absolutely. Sitcom job. Would you rather have a career working with animals or a career working with technology?
Oh, animals.
Okay.
Technology. Get out of here,
Hey,
AI.
listen, you might like the answer for technology. Who knows? Sitcom pet. Would you rather have a small one with a big personality or a smart, independent pet?
Oh.
This independent pet also has a personality, but they're just a little more small one, big personality, needy.
Okay.
Smart, independent pet, less.
I feel like I have one of each of those at
Yeah.
home. So let's take the little one.
Alrighty.
Small crazy or whatever the hell it was.
Beautiful. Then lastly, 2 more, sitcom hangout. You're going to choose the stereotypical sitcom location.
I feel like one has to be a coffee shop.
So one is the location so far. I'll get you in the specifics of that with the answer, but would you rather be in New York City, which is pretty broad, or somewhere shopping?
Oh, New York City.
New York City?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially since I just came from there and I'm like, do I move here now?
Okay, lastly, we're going to find what your sitcom family secret is.
Oh, God.
Do you want it to have to do with a hospital mishap or a DNA surprise?
What if I already had one of those?
So whatever speaks to you.
Let's do the DNA surprise.
Okay, I'm kind of glad you picked that one. Alrighty.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to read you your log line of your family sitcom. All right. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Every week, Valerie from Boston tries to survive life with their spouse, Alf. A job as Shamu's trainer, the daily chaos caused by their Furby, and find time to hang out at Monica Geller's apartment when she's not home,
Stop.
you weirdo. But one thing they're about to find out is their real dad is the pug from Men in Black.
There's so many animals involved in that.
You know what? Looking back, very animal heavy. You did want to work with animals, so there we go.
It's true.
Wow, Valerie, you've got quite a sitcom ahead of you.
That
you
is
know?
a very busy sitcom.
Alf in Boston, Shamu trainer in Boston, no less.
Shamu
That's rough.
trainer. Oh.
Your Furby's gonna eventually become possessed.
Furbies are creepy,
You're
man.
looking around Monica Geller's apartment,
Oh, God, that apartment, though, was incredible.
and then your real dad is the pug from Men in Black. And you're gonna discover what that means for you on
that
season
feels
1
right.
of your sitcom. All right, Valerie, I just want to thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you
This
so
was
much for having
amazing,
me.
an honor, and just so glad that you're a part of this sitcom family.
Oh, I'm
Thank you
so glad
so
to be a part of
much.
it. It's less dysfunctional than my own.
Everybody Knows But Me is a production of Companion Arts and Next Chapter Podcasts. This episode was written by me, Holly Brown. Make sure you follow Valerie on all social media at Valerie_Tosi on all platforms and listen to Millennial Mood Board now. Our lead producer, editor, music supervisor, and sound designer is Pete Musto. Our associate producer is Ilana Nevins. Our video editor is Alex Musto. Our original theme music is by Kyle Murdock, and our show artwork was created by Aaron Hill. Our executive producers are Jeremiah Tittle and also me, Holly Brown. New episodes of Everybody Knows But Me come out every Wednesday. Go to patreon.com/everybodyknowsbutme to support the show starting at just $5 a month. And follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, youtube.com/@everybodyknowspodcast, or wherever you get great content like ours. Do you have a story of family secrets or darkly funny drama that you want to share? We want to hear it. Email us at everybodyknowspod@gmail.com. And make sure you leave us a rating, review, or drop a comment telling us what you like about the show. Follow me at Holly Brown Comedy and the show on all social media at Everybody Knows But Me. And come back next week to hear more of the stories we tell ourselves to survive.